can regenerate to the point of, you know, the highest level of sport. So I'm overjoyed to be here to talk about the process. I thought I'd just give you guys a brief, my brief story, because then you'll know why on earth I'm here and who I am a little bit. I started my eating disorder about 19, early 20s in college. And it really, you know, the $1 million question is always, how did you get started with your eating disorder? It's like, I signed up for it. I mean, so I'm not 100% sure, you know, the day or the moment and you know, went through a lot of process of trying to figure out why. But I was rowing crew and got really kind of large and muscular from that sport. And just over time, kind of freaked out that I was gaining weight and started to lose weight. So I feel like I've gone to school and I have no idea what I'm going to do with my life because I hated what I had majored in. So that's when the eating disorder just grabbed hold, because it was control, right? I had complete control over that, and I had control over nothing else in my life, or so I felt. I was just out of control. And so that's when it really started progressing and got really bad. And anorexia eventually turned into bulimia, and this is over 2 and 3 years, and then I tried to commit suicide twice, and well, that obviously didn't work, and just deeper and deeper. And my moving to California because it's sunny. I was living in New York City, that was really the reason. And I was still very sick when I was there, and I just happened upon a small ad in a local newspaper that said here, and I decided to go listen to her speak. And so it was amazing, and we connected, you know, that connection that I thought I might have the nerve to go up and talk to her afterwards. And long story short, she ended up being my therapist for all those years. And her process and my process, which was through her, is what I'm going to go through with you guys today. And then I'm going to show this CD a little bit more. If I haven't been as detailed as I could have been in that story, this is probably a little more enjoyable to watch than just me standing up here. So we'll watch this now, and then we'll go into the therapy processes.
It's hard to know if Dotsie chose cycling or cycling chose Dotsie. She wasn't looking for a hobby, she was looking for a life. A life that looked so promising. College at Villanova and a modeling career. Before anorexia first took her weight, then her will to live.
It's a dark, nasty demon, and it takes hold, and there's no escaping. And it grew to a point where it is in your life, and that's completely taken over. So there aren't a lot of lucid moments. I mean, your body's starting to eat its own organs. There's a lot of really, horrible physical things that are going on inside of you. So you sleep a lot, and you're depressed a lot.
Everything, and she was in all the wrong gear, but she won the race. But she literally was lying on the side of the road after the race. She was just absolutely exhausted from the effort that she put in. Jim, my husband, said, "Go pick up that girl. She's got to get back on her bike, or she's going to cramp up something awful." So I went over and literally put her back on her bike as she was crying and saying, "I can't, it hurts, I can't." Got her back on her bike, and at that point, we knew that.
What I can share with you is my process with my therapist, and how we did it, and what we went through to get there. I have 2 quotes from my therapist that I wanted to read first, because I think it will then what I tell you about our process together. So my therapist's name was Chris Edstrom, and I already told you how I met her. She says about herself, "I am not a therapist per se, but rather a meditation teacher advisor who applies mindfulness, and relations on coursework are based on feedback, experience, and reading each person's present state when they come to me. You took the work seriously, you did your homework, and were courageous and self-honest. Those attributes were an important part of your recovery." So, one is to be very open and judgmental, if possible, of this. I'm not an expert like you guys are. You guys are the experts. I'm just a patient, recovered patient. And I don't want to debate because I'll lose. And I don't like to lose at all. You guys know way more than I know. I just know this one process to share with you. So if I start crying, I want everyone to smile, make me feel better. Because I'm not really sure how I'm going to get through this, because I've worked with them. Well, I hate to say work with. I've mentored a lot of eating disorder patients one-on-one, but I haven't done a lot of this like big stuff. So as I got on the phone with her, and we were on the phone ad nauseum for hours, bless her heart. Because some of this stuff we really had to dig back in and jog each other's memory on a few of the things. Completely different than any other therapist I had been to before, because I had seen 2 therapists for a while, each of them, before I found Chris, and then years. So, anyway, that's what I've done, and I'm gonna take some water. So the very first one is what really made me trust her. My experience with the other 2 was, and I want you guys to know too, I'm not being judgmental of any. We're the type that you walk in and you sit down and they have their pad and they're like, ooh, wow. And you just are like, you want to, you feel like you can't breathe. I mean, I felt strangled in those scenarios because I felt very judged and like I couldn't be honest, because whatever I was going to tell them was going to be so shocking, because you know some of the practices of eating disorder, stuff that's, gritty stuff that you're going to tell your therapist. And I just felt like that I couldn't be my open self. So Chris, I said, how did you make me feel so comfortable so soon? Because I literally remember leaving the first time and thinking, this is it. Like, this is the one. I mean, I can tell her anything. And she said she did what she calls level 1 disclosure. And she said, I never tell all. I never tell any of my patients all. And I still don't know. Mom will ask me questions about her, and there's still I don't really know, because I didn't ever interview her, and she never told me the depths of anything. She never enough that I felt comfortable. And literally from that moment on, I had complete trust, and I was able to, and that is just what opens up you being able to tell your story, because you get tired of telling your story, right? That's the other thing with therapy. Oh, I thought, I have to find the next one because I can't tell this anymore or I'm going to quit, because you want to quit so many times in the beginning. And so she was very open, but not too open. And it was enough for me that I said, okay, I really trust this person. And she, the other, instead of diving into the history, and then we did some history work. Like it was really about a year later. So the number 2 is. I kind of want to look a little bit at compulsive exercise and what that means, literally. Compulsive exercise as opposed to, I guess you would say, choice exercise, or exercise that you're desiring to do and your heart says this is something I want to go do today. So the definition simply resulting from or relating to an irresistible urge, especially one that is against one's conscious wishes. So completely against what your conscious mind says that you want to do. And then there's something small I wanted to read here. Researchers suggest that the inability to cope appropriately with adverse mood states, such as anxiety and depression, is a central component in the maintenance of eating disorders. Termed mood intolerance, it is characterized by engagement in various dysfunctional mood modulatory behaviors, such as compulsive exercising, that serve the purpose of neutralizing the mood state. So that state, and but they're really sick and they're headed in that direction. So what Chris did with me, because in my opinion now, yanking the exercise 100% can be catastrophic for a patient. For me, at that time, it would have sent me into dove so much deeper into the disordered eating aspect of my eating disorder that I don't even know if I would ever come out of it. So, and she just, I really think this was, again, her intuition. What she did was we went little bit by little bit. So my thing was like crazy gym you know, elliptical and the Stairmaster, and I hated it. But I could count all the calories. It was very specific. I knew exactly what was happening. When you walk out of here, I think she realized what would have happened to me. So we journaled about it, and those feelings that I would have after because you know, even that first day I had to take a little bit out. So when she backed it out with little baby steps, it was like, I was like, okay, I can do this. And the fear started to melt away as the therapy was unfolding. And not immediately and not all at once, but it over time, the fear I remember it just, okay, I can do this. All right. And then I could still go. And in the beginning, right, it was still the disordered mind. Okay, 5 days a week, 3 hours. Okay, that's still a lot. Okay, that's good. But you know, she just would slip it out. And I had to do what she said, you know, and of course, many times I do a little more. But then that trust issue came in that she established from the very beginning, and I would tell her I did a little bit more. And she would say, that's okay. She would always say, that's okay. It was like, okay, wow. And everything I would just, you know, calm down, and that would melt away because she just had that way about her, you know, because there's nothing, I never felt like there was anything I was going to tell her that was going to shock her, you know, so she would just very calmly, you know, it was okay. The coolest realization that came out of this was I realized that with her doing it this way, that at the end, when I was, you know, that is a desire. So whatever that is, whether it's playing tennis or riding a bike, you know, don't just go to the gym and get on the Stairmaster unless that's in here in their true fiber of what you think you love. And changing that, and that's your all's, you know, job, but changing that in the brain to away from compulsive to desire and want and passion, and finding that for each patient is going to be different, obviously.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're so awesome.
Oh, now we're going to turn these puppies off.
Yeah, you don't want to ever leave these on at the end.
Okay. So
Come say hi.
it's good to meet
We're
you.
able to meet this morning.
Yeah. So what were they gonna focus on with you? Like,
Disorders and sports. I think this is
okay,
the professional
because you're a
side.
therapist.
Yeah, I'm
and
a
so
supervisor in Bethesda.
okay. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna write my email address down real quick, so we can.
So great. This is wonderful.
Was it okay?
Yeah, you did great.
Okay, good. I don't know.
It really was.
There's my email.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
It was
yeah.
wonderful getting. I think that's yours.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's Beth. Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Really, I wish you the best. It was so.
Well, let me know how it goes, and I'm serious. I'll set you all up if you want to have him do the surgery, because he's amazing.
It's just helped me hear from you. You know, you got so much of what we hear is when they're in the thick of it.
No,
and
I know.
It's
I know.
really different to hear it from that perspective.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it.
Oh, you're so sweet. Yeah, no, it was my pleasure to be here. I was really honored.
Good. Well, I'm glad you
Have a good rest of the conference.
Thank you.
Okay. No.
Would you mind? Oh, I have so much stuff here. Just push the Oh, how sweet
Here we
of
go.
you. Oh, my voice will be so proud. Oh, thank you. I think it's really, really cool. I'm losing my voice.
Yeah, you
I'm
are.
all choked up. Thank you. I just really enjoyed your session.
Oh, I'm
Thank you.
so glad.
It's
Have a
nice to
good
meet you.
conference.
Thank you.
That, yeah. Yeah.
I'll take a picture. You want to get these out, honey?
I'll do it if the two of you. Did you want to?
Oh, I mean, I didn't know if people would want to see. There's only like 6 of them there. So, yeah, to the people that are left if they want them. I mean, yeah, it's up to you.
It's up to you.
Okay.
Were you ever injured during your recovery?
A cyclist never gets injured.
But I mean, then how did you deal with, well, maybe I'm not going to get better, or...
You mean like in cycling? Did I get injured or in? Yeah, I broke my collarbone a few times, and
then you couldn't exercise during that time?
no, not really. But I mean, even now, I mean, you know, it's obviously gone from extreme to not extreme in the last 3 months of my life, and it's just like so enjoyable to just choose to do, because I mean, it definitely got to be, I mean, it was a job, especially the last 5 years, you know, where it was okay, and I didn't, you know, love it as much as, I mean, I loved it, but you know, you'd had days where I thought, I don't want to go to.
Grew up from the age of 4 and 5 doing their sport and get injured.
I
and they're
know,
done. They're
I
almost
know,
done.
I know.
And their whole identity is their sport.
It's so different than me since I'm almost 40. You know, I mean, the age is everything, and every stages of your life and how you deal with those kind of situations. And if it happens when you're 16 versus, you know, 28 or something, you know, so different. It's so different. Oh my gosh, yeah. I know some teenagers that same type of thing, and it does. They're like losing their identity. Yeah, it's like it's who they are. It's who they've created so far, right? And you get older and you've created more versions of what you love to do and who you are.
He's a soccer player, you know, got recruited to college, got injured the summer before he went to college, and now for 2 seasons he hasn't been able to play.
And how is he doing? I mean,
He's finally right now at the end of the season, the second season, able to but going to physical therapy and sitting on the couch waiting to get better and hoping that you actually will.
Oh, yeah.
Or 2 of my patients who are, I mean, my son's fine, but 2 of the cross-country patients with stress fractures, hip fractures, can't run anymore, you know, and they keep being told, well, you can't do your sport now. Well, then who am I? I'm sure you're dealing with that in college.
Right,
who am I?
right,
they
right,
don't know who they
right.
are.
It's so overwhelming. Yeah. Oh, you want to put me in it? Oh, okay. Okay.
Of course.
It's all right. We can.
Always when they try.
Why it's not going.
Oh, I got him at the little. Do you have for Francesca's here? No, there's one in Kentucky and in LA, so I thought maybe they. But yeah, it's just this little fun place. You know, they're like $5.
And were you eating crew? Did you have your eating disorder when you were eating crew?
Started like 165.
My daughter Rose.
Right.
But she's not. She's heavyweight.
Yeah, I think it so is if you're on the cusp, and then of course wrestling is a nightmare with how close those weight. So for the women, like I just think this is crazy. For the women in the Olympics, there's 3 weight classes. For the men, there's 10. So there, you know, the men are okay. You 5 to 8 pounds is not, you know, but the women, you know, right? So you're gonna do. Just can't even imagine. I just think it's almost wrong that they don't have more weight classes to.
Instead of weight-based. Because that's what it's about anyway.
I know.
Just measure and you're done. You're either in the class or you're not.
They have to figure out something because that is horrendous. That the wrestling thing. I mean, and then yeah, I'm sorry, it's boxers is what it is, but same thing. I mean, same. Yeah, sorry, there's no wrestling. Yeah, for women, but it's 3 weight classes. So it's like a 20-pound span in between the 3 weight classes because boxing was in the Olympics for the first time for women. And I met one of them. Anyway, I mean, I cannot imagine that. I mean, that just creates. I mean, that for me, that would just create one because you're just I got bad news.
What happens is that I think you were saying that as their weight goes down and maybe they're performing better, I'm thinking that the lower my weight is, the better my performance is, and actually as it keeps going down, the performance decreases.
Yes.
And so I'm a dietitian, so I'm giving the message, no, your performance doesn't necessarily continue to improve as your weight goes down. You know?
Absolutely, absolutely. And what's going in? Yeah. What's going in to produce that? Sure. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Thank you so much.
You guys do amazing work. Thanks for doing what you do. Nice to meet you, Mackenzie. Oh, I like that name. And where you're in Texas?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm in Lubbock, Texas.
Okay.
I run an eating disorder recovery
You
program
do?
within the collegiate recovery community at Texas
Oh,
Tech.
wow. Okay. So do you do more from the therapist standpoint? Or
They have to apply to be members of our community because you get college credit, scholarships, all that kind of stuff.
oh,
So it's
wow.
really cool.
I haven't heard of anything like that.
Yeah, we've been open for 25 years for mainly substance abuse, and then like 3 years ago, some of our donors gave several $1 million to start an eating disorder track.
Wow.
So it's really awesome. This is the second year of the specific eating disorder times, but it's cool because
You look like you're a student
support.
yourself. You look so young.
I get that a lot.
You get that a lot, yeah.
Yeah, and so I know I am. I'm finishing out my PhD, so I'm still a student.
Okay,
but,
so you are
sort of.
a little bit older student.
Yeah, but it's cool to see the students in college and have support and that kind of stuff.
That's good stuff you're doing. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's neat.
It's the first time I've ever heard of that like that.
Yeah, it's neat. It's actually the first eating disorder program in a collegiate recovery community in the States, so it's cool to get to do whatever I want with it.
Yeah, I bet you're going to get asked to go around and talk about that as the different universities start to catch on with what you guys are doing.
Yeah, there's like 70 universities across the nation that are starting collegiate recovery communities, and then
Collegiate recovery communities? Sweet.
I know.
I'm stealing one.
Okay.
Do you have a juicy pen to sign it for me?
Yeah, I have some signed ones there actually. But anyway.
extras.
Yeah. Here. Sarah was the only one that wasn't there
I
because then
also
she had to
have
go
a
do the
random
honors.
question.
This one, so
I ride also when I'm not broken. What's your favorite bike? I mean, what's your favorite bike brand? I saw you were riding a Fuji in the picture.
Oh yeah, those are some old photos. Well, we rode felt at the Olympics, so that's by far the best pursuit bike on the market. I'm a Cannondale fan. Yeah, for road. I love their Super 6 and their new Super 6. Yeah,
Never
yeah.
ridden a Cannondale, but
yeah. That's my husband rides. Yeah, that's great stuff too. Do you have a Shiv or a Venge or
No, actually,
like an
my,
S-Works? Oh yes, I own that bike. I should never have sold it because it was so cool.
Yeah, it was so cool.
It was so cool.
Keck gets tons of grief about his pink time trial bike, but
Those were great
Keanu
bikes, though.
worked right.
They were way ahead of their time
They
with the
were.
aerodynamics of that bike. That's the only bike I wish I had never sold, and I didn't really realize at the time how how ahead they
If you
were.
want one back, my husband has it. It's in our living room. What nobody asks
What size is it?
that I really want to know is, how many bikes do you have?
yeah, how many bikes?
I'm not too bad. I'm not like a hoarder, so I move them out pretty quick. I probably have like 6 or something.
That's less than I do.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I don't keep it around if I'm not
But
gonna.
you have a steady stream of new bikes coming
True.
in. That might help.
But maybe not anymore. So I probably should keep these 6. They're not gonna.
This is a 54.
Okay.
What size you
Okay. 55.
Well, if I'm wrong, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Get heck for 4 bikes, so I can tell people that nobody has more than me.
There you go.
So you race in Texas?
No, I don't race right now. I'm still recovering. I've had 4 hip surgeries.